Very good morning, one and all. Today we are going to discuss about role of national food regulatory systems and standards with respect to quality and safety of milk and milk products. In our country, we have mostly two types of standards which govern the sale of foods, including milk and milk products. These include legal standards and quality standards. Moreover, we had many bodies enforcing standards. This led to a lot of confusion for both manufacturers as well as enforcers. In the recent past, the concept of globalization has emerged very strongly, where all the boundaries have been eliminated. However, some barriers to trade with respect to more stringent norms and others have been raised. In this context, Indian standards needed to be harmonized within themselves as well as with the international standards. To eliminate the problems and confusions in the trade of food items, including milk, a thought of uniform standards was evolved, which has been culminated in the form of Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, that is FSSAI. Now comes legal standards. Legal standard means the specifications or the requirements which pertain to the law of the government and are set up by the government to meet certain minimum requirements in terms of all, that is chemical quality, means composition of the product, bacteriological quality, that is from hygiene point of view, hygienic quality must be maintained, and labeling as well as packaging requirements. In our country, legal standards are given under PFA Rule 1955. Legal standards or PFA standards prescribe the minimum requirements for all types and categories of food and food products. These standards are consistent with the minimum quality that is achievable under Indian conditions by the majority of the farmers, producers, processors, sale agencies, etc. Further, any food that does not conform to the minimum standards laid down by the legal rulers, that is PFA rules, is said to be adulterated, irrespective whether anything has been added or removed from the original food. It means to avoid this adulterated term, food must conform the minimum standards laid down by PFA rule. Mute karo. Now let us see different parameters which is generally taken into consideration while fixing legal standards. These parameters include purity, composition, additives, efficiency of processing, bacteriological quality, as well as packaging and labeling requirements. What does purity means? It means there should be a mention of purity in clear terms, that is whether anything can be added or removed from the original food should be clearly specified in the rules. Next comes composition, means certain compositional criteria must be clearly specified in the rules also as to what should be the minimum level of components in a given type of product. For example, fat, SNF, etc. content of milk. Next comes additives. If any type of additives are required to be added to any food to improve its quality, stability, flavor, etc., there should be clearly specified in the rules with respect to their levels, etc. For example, certain additives are permitted like nisin in cheese, DHA in ghee, butter, whole milk powder in order to prevent oxidation of these products. Next comes efficiency of processing. It should be clearly specified in the rules as to which type of tests have to be performed to check the efficiency of heat processing treatments given to milk and milk products. For example, phosphatase test should be negative for pasteurized milk. Turbidity test should be negative for sterilized milk, and these things you people know. Next comes bacteriological quality, that is hygienic quality of the product must be well maintained. So permissible limits for coliform count, total count, yeast and mold count, etc. should be clearly specified in the rules. Next comes packaging and labeling requirements. There should be mention in the rules as to what type of packaging material is to be used for what type of food, so that there shouldn't be any ill effect of the packaging material in the food, and what should be indicated on the labels like quantity, price, manufacturing date, expiry date, etc. Nowadays, nutritional facts are also to be given on the labels. You people must have seen while purchasing any milk and milk products. Here you can see BIS mark as well as egg mark. Now comes quality standards. Before purchasing anything, this is first thing which comes in mind of every customer, which type of quality that particular food product is having. So quality standards means those specifications which are laid down by the government or some expert body constituted by the government for the purpose of producing high quality products. While legal standards are compulsory, the quality standards are not compulsory. They are on the voluntary basis. In our country, we have two types of quality standards, that is BIS, ISI, which was earlier known as ISI standards, as well as AGMARC standards. Both of these are above the PFA minimum standards and useful for producing export quality products. BIS or ISI standards deal with many types of processed food products apart from non-food products, while AGMARC standards deal with many types of foods, mainly with raw agricultural produce. For example, cereals, oils, oilseeds, spices, eggs, legumes, ghee, butter, etc. Among dairy products, do remember this, for the purpose of quality standards, exclusively ghee and creamery butter are covered into AGMARC. Rest of the dairy products are covered under BIS or ISI. AGMARC and BIS are voluntary and not compulsory, but in 1987, BIS has made it compulsory or mandatory for certain items to have ISI mark. Food colors and additives, vanaspati, containers for packing, milk powder and condensed milk. Therefore, for these two milk products, that is milk powder and condensed milk, it is now compulsory to have ISI mark. Now, let us see, why do we need legal and quality standards? The main purpose of these quality standards, legal and quality standards, is to protect the interest of the consumer along with the interest of the manufacturers also should be protected. And it is protected because of this legal and quality standards of the food product, because if it is a certified product with some quality mark like ISI, AGMARC, etc., it will sell more as compared to the uncertified product. Obviously, as we people also go to the market, you must have seen, first thing is quality and whatever is being mentioned on the label, who is manufacturer of the product, are different important things which get our attention before purchasing of any food product. So it is obvious that customers want to be sure about the quality, most important thing before purchasing anything, which will ultimately affect the economical condition of the producer also. Someone has to protect the interest of the consumer. They should not be left at the mercy of the manufacturers because he is ignorant about the quality. Consumers should get a product of pure quality, that is, any food product which is being purchased from the market must be unadulterated. That is, must be unadulterated. Along with, they should be free from pathogenic organisms and also free from harmful substances like pesticides, antibiotics, heavy metals, like toxic metals, including arsenic, lead, mercury, etc., as well as toxins, etc. So it is the duty of the government to fix legal standards to protect the interests of the consumer and also to fix quality standards so as to improve the quality of the product to a higher degree above the minimum legal, that is PFA standards. Now comes PFA Act and rules. PFA stands for Prevention of Food Adulteration. The PFA Act was passed in 1954 and PFA rules were framed in 1955 to protect the consumers against the supply of inferior quality or adulterated food. In recent years, the government of India has enacted another act known as the Food Safety and Standard Act, FSSA, 2006, abbreviated as FSS Act 2006. The regulations under this act have come into force from August 2011. What are the main objectives of PFA Act? It includes to protect the public from obviously harmful and poisonous foods. It shouldn't be sold to the consumers in any case. Next objective includes to protect the sale of substandard food containing harmful substances, as already we have discussed in previous slides, and to protect the society against unscrupulous and antisocial dealers by eliminating fraudulent practices. PFA standards are formulated and revised by an expert body called Central Committee for Food Standards, that is CCFS, under the Directorate General of Health Services, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. It is the CCFS which advises the central government as well as state government on different matters arising out of the administration of PFA Act. It is obviously a very heavy committee, including people from all the states and the UTs, and all the major ministries and departments are representative of this committee. There are only 4 central food laboratories in the country. Do remember this. This is very important that there are only 4 central food laboratories in the country located at different zones, that is Kolkata, Mysore, Pune and Ghaziabad. In fact, the whole country is divided into 4 zones and each zone is then connected to one of these central food laboratories, and samples of a particular area or zone are sent to the concerned central food laboratories only. Now comes preservative permitted to be added to samples. What is the main function of preservative? Simply to lengthen its shelf life. When a food inspector takes the sample of any food for analysis, he has to add a preservative as may be prescribed from time to time so as to keep the sample in a condition suitable for analysis, and it can be analyzed chemically as well as microbiologically in the condition which has been taken from the lot. So preservative used in the case of samples of any milk, including toned, separated, as well as skimmed milk, standardized milk, chena, skimmed milk chena, cream, ice candy, dahi, khoa, or khoa-based or paneer-based sweets such as kalakand and barfi, chutney, and prepared foods, gur, coffee, and tea in liquid and semi-liquid form shall be the liquid commonly known as formalin, a liquid containing about 40% of formaldehyde in aqueous solution in the proportion of 0.1 ml for 25 ml or 25 gram, that is at the rate of 0.4%. And in case of ice cream and mixed ice cream, it is mixed at the rate of 0.6%. Now comes Agriculture Produce Act, that is AGMARK. AGMARK stands for Agricultural Marketing. In order to have a systematic marketing of agricultural produce on the basis of well-defined quality, Indian legislation in 1937 passed an act known as Agriculture Produce Act 1937, specifically for grading as well as marking and marketing. This act is not mandatory. It is permissive in nature. It is one's choice to go for AGMARK grading if one can meet their specifications. Rules under this act are called General Grading and Marking Rules 1937. Rules have been revised in 1988 and are called General Grading and Marking Rules 1988. Grading of agricultural items under these rules is called AGMARK grading or AGMARK certification. AGMARK is the exclusive property of Government of India and it is not a private trademark. Directorate of Marketing and Inspection, that is DMI. Directorate of Marketing and Inspection is the authority on the AGMARK, whose headquarters is now at Faridabad and branch headquarters is at Nagpur. It is the DMI which enforces the Agricultural Produce Act 1937. Under Agricultural Produce Act 1937, grade standards are given for agricultural and allied commodities like cereals, oilseeds, oils, creamery butters, ghee, legumes, eggs, etc. Agricultural commodities are categorized into various grades such as special grade, good grade, fair grade, and ordinary grade, etc., depending upon the degree of obviously quality in each case, that is type of composition. These grades are known as AGMARK standards, and this way of categorizing or grading the agricultural products in terms of their chemical composition or quality is called AGMARK grading. Now comes objectives of AGMARK scheme. These include to assure the consumers a product of pre-tasted quality and purity so that customers should get confidence before purchasing of that product. To enable the producer of good quality products to have better returns, obviously, if producer will produce good quality products, it will be purchased by mass of the customers, and obviously he will get better financial returns. To have a sale of the product in the market with a uniform composition and well-defined quality, to eliminate the malpractice of adulteration. Most important thing is to eliminate the practice of adulteration in the movement of the product from producer to consumer. Among dairy products, only ghee and creamery butter are graded under egg mark. Desi or cooking butter is not graded under egg mark. Don't get confused. Mind it, only ghee and creamery butters are graded under egg mark. Now comes BIS, which is known as Bureau of Indian Standards. It is a national standards body of India which is responsible for formulating national standards for various types of articles, maybe edible as well as non-edible, that is food and non-food articles, for example, livestock feed, cattle housing, equipments, dairy products, food additives, and food hygiene, testing apparatus and methods, etc. The old name of this organization was Indian Standards Institution, which was established in 1947. And the new name, that is BIS, came into existence from 1st April 1987 under the BIS Act 1986. Now let us see what is the structure of BIS, including member of BIS. Member of Bureau of Indian Standard is broad-based and all important interests are represented. Minister for Food and Civil Supplies is the President of BIS, and members include members of Parliament, ministers of state governments, nominees of central government ministries and departments, farmers community, consumers organization, academic institutions, research institutions, industry, and professional associations. Now let us see different objectives as well as functions of Bureau of Indian Standards. It includes to formulate Indian standards for various articles, processes, methods of test, codes of practices, etc., and promote their implementation, to promote the concepts of standardization and quality control in industries, to coordinate the efforts of producers and users for making improvements in the materials, products, processes, and methods, to operate ISI certification scheme, to establish testing laboratories of its own, to operate laboratory recognition scheme to meet the requirements of testing, to offer technical and consultancy services within and outside the country. And the next and last objective includes to have cooperation and coordination with international standard making bodies like ISO. BIS is a member of ISO and IES. ISO stands for International Organization for Standardization and IEC stands for International Electrotechnical Commission. Now, let us see Modern Integrated Food Law, that is FASA 2006. In order to consolidate the laws relating to food and to establish the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, that is FASAI, for laying down science-based standards for articles of food and to regulate their manufacture, storage, distribution, sale and import, to ensure availability of safe and wholesome food for human consumption and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto, the Government of India has enacted new food laws known as the Food Safety and Standards Act 2006. This act was passed on 23rd August 2006. It extends to the whole of the India, whole of the country. However, the act came into force only recently, that is in 2011. This act consolidates various acts and orders that have hitherto handled food-related issues in various ministries and departments. Now, highlights of the Food Safety and Standard Act 2006. Various central acts like Prevention of Food Adulteration Act, that is PFA 1954, FPO 1955, MFPO 1973, BOPO 1947, EOPO 1988, SEO, de-oiled meal and edible flour order 1967, MMPO 1992, etc. will be treated as repealed after commencement of FASA 2006. The Act also aims to establish a single reference point for all matters relating to food safety and standards by moving from multi-level, multi-departmental control to a single line of command. That is most important thing. To this effect, the Act establishes an independent statutory authority, the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, with head office at Delhi. FSSAI and the State Food Safety Authority shall enforce various provisions of the Act. Now let us talk about establishment of FSSAI. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India is the administrative ministry for the implementation of FSSAI. The chairperson of Chief Executive Officer of FSSAI have already been appointed by Government of India, and the chairperson is in the rank of Secretary to Government of India. FSSAI has been created for laying down science-based standards for articles of food and to regulate their manufacture, storage, distribution, sale, as well as import to ensure availability of course, safe and wholesome food for human consumption. Composition of FSSAI consists of a chairperson and 22 members, out of which 1/3 shall be women, namely 7 members who will be representative of ministries of or departments of the central government dealing with agriculture, commerce, consumer affairs, food processing, health, legislative affairs, small-scale industries, who shall be members ex officio. 2 from food industry, out of which 1 shall be from small-scale industries, 2 from consumer organization, 3 eminent food technologists or scientists, 5 members to be appointed by rotation every 3 years, 1 each in Sayyedim from the zones as specified in the first schedule to represent the states and the UT. 2 representing farmers organization and 1 from retailers organization. Now, providing unsafe food under FSSAI, people can be punished. Any person who, whether by himself or by any other person on his behalf, manufactures for sale or stores or sells or distributes or imports any article of food for human consumption which is unsafe for the consumer shall be punishable. You can see some categories, that is where such failure or contravention does not result in injury, the person may get 6 months imprisonment and also with a fine of 1 lakh rupees. Where such failure or contravention results in a non-grievous injury, imprisonment for a term which may extend to 1 year and fine which may extend to 3 lakh rupees. Where such failure or contravention results in a grievous injury, imprisonment may extend to 6 years and fine may extend to 5 lakh rupees. Where such failures or contravention results in death, imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 7 years but which may extend to imprisonment for life, and also with fine which shall not be less than 10 lakh rupees. Now, penalty for selling food not of the nature or substance or quality demanded. Any person who sells to the purchasers prejudice any food which is not in compliance with the provisions of this act or the regulations made thereunder, or of the nature or substance
or quality demanded by the purchaser shall be liable to a penalty not exceeding 5 lakh rupees, provided that the persons covered under subsection 2 of section 31 shall for such non-compliance be liable to a penalty not exceeding 25,000 rupees. Penalty for substandard food: any person who, whether by himself or by any other person on his behalf, manufactures, for sale or stores or sells or distributes or imports any article of food for human consumption which is substandard shall be liable to a penalty which may extend to 5 lakh rupees. Now, penalty for possessing adulteration. If any person who, whether by himself or by any other person on his behalf, imports or manufactures for sale or stores, sells or distribute any adulterant shall be liable, whether such adulterant is not injurious to health, to a penalty not exceeding 2 lakh rupees, where such adulterant is injurious to health, to a penalty not exceeding 10 lakh rupees. In a proceeding under subsection 1, it shall not be a defense that the accused was holding such adulterant on behalf of any other person, and he will be punished. Now let us see, as per new norms, the Milk and Milk Products Order MMPO 1992 shall be deemed to be regulations made under this Act. On and from the date of commencement of this Act, the Milk and Milk Products Order MMPO 1992 issued under the Essential Commodities Act 1955 shall be deemed to be the Milk and Milk Products Regulations MMPR 1992 issued by the Food Authority under this Act. The Food Authority may, with the previous approval of the central government and after previous publication by notification, amend the regulations specified in subsection. In FSSAI, to harmonize the Codex standards, Codex India, the National Codex Contact Point NCCP for India has been constituted. This point is located at Food Safety and Standard Authority of India, that is FSSAI building, under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, FDA Bhavan, Kotla Road, New Delhi, India. It coordinates and promotes Codex activities in India in association with the National Codex Committee and facilitates India's input to the work of Codex through an established consultation process. That's all about role of National Food Regulatory Systems and Standards. Thank you. Thank you very much.